Welcome to the loaded cannon. Arsenal 2. Forget it. I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to start this with going Rooney, Rooney, Rooney. Yes, not the chav, the grandma liking chav. I'm talking about FC Copenhagen future superstar Rooney. I'm not even going to give his surname a go. But what a result. Buzzing with that. Listen, I expected Arsenal to win, and we did. I didn't expect us to do it in so much control as what we did. But one thing I didn't expect, especially when I saw United were 2-0 up, I did not expect them to bottle it so royally, so beautifully, but they did. Marcus Rashford is on his way to China White for a party right now. Rumour has it that's why he got sent off, because he was going to be late for it. So, Marcus Rashford, I love you as a human being, but you play for United, so I'm going to have to mock it because your club is scum. And everyone associated with Man United deserves this. Not for a second should you feel sorry for any Man United fan, for Rashford, for Ten Hag, for anyone associated with that club. They are scum of the earth, and they deserve every bit of frustration and sadness and unhappiness that comes their way. Any good human being despises Man United, and beautiful, lovely to see. And whilst Man United are conceding 4, yes, 4, and I don't want to hear about the 10 men. When you've got a 2-goal cushion and you get a man sent off, you should not be losing 4-1 after that. So Man United, honestly, bottled it. Ten Hag is going to be getting sacked in the morning. I enjoyed it. Honestly, Arsenal won, but I enjoyed the United battering so much today. Anyway, let's talk about the Arsenal. And Martinelli. Wow, what a performance from Martinelli. Juanlu, honestly, I actually feel for him. Whilst I've got no sympathies for Man United, I actually felt bad for Juanlu, because that was a tough day at the office. And we've seen, I think what was Bellerin against Douglas Costa, was it? That kind of sticks in the mind. There's a bit of a nightmare. Callum Chambers as well once got absolutely roasted. I can't remember who it was against. Sometimes you see fullbacks up against a wide forward or a winger, and they just get absolutely torn apart at will. And Gabriel Martinelli, wow, he just did it non-stop today. Honestly, if that doesn't affect Juanlu's confidence, then he's very mentally strong, because how can it not? He had him absolutely on toast. And even Saka on the other side as well, he was just brilliant as well. Goal and an assist for him today. It's nice to see him back on form, because he's such an important player for Arsenal, and in recent weeks he hasn't been at his usual level. So Bukayo Saka, just brilliant as well. But man of the match has obviously got to be Martinelli. He was so insanely good, and I was very happy to see him come off, because we need that in the Premier League. We need to get back on track. We're off the back of 2 defeats, and then we go and put in a performance like that against a really good caliber team in Sevilla, Europa League holders no less, and we've just beaten them away and at home. And now we've taken absolute control of our Champions League group. I haven't even really looked at the table. I don't even know the score of the other game in our group just yet. But clearly with these back-to-back wins, we've taken absolute control of the Champions League group. And you know what's amazing to me as well? When you consider that this current batch of players, this current squad, this is only their 4th Champions League game that they've ever played together. I mean, I know some players in that team have got prior Champions League experience, but as a group, they look in the Champions League very assured, very composed, and then they look like they've got experience way beyond their collective years. So credit goes to Mikel Arteta for that. And it's games like this where I look at Mikel Arteta and I think to myself, I rate you so highly as a coach. And it's interesting because this game isn't going to be remembered as some sort of magical moment in Arsenal's history or anything like that. It was quite a regulation win. In a way, you could even say, as far as games go, it was quite standard, quite boring, just a regulation 2-0 win. Clearly, more neutrals would have rather have watched the Copenhagen Man United game, where players sent off 7 goals, penalties given, this, that, the other. Arsenal's was boring, and I love it. I'm absolutely here for it. And the reason is to restrict a team like Sevilla, a team as good as Sevilla, to only their first shot on target in the 97th minute. That is absolutely incredible work. It really is. And do you know what? Arteta deserves a hell of a lot of credit for that. Do you know what? I'm just going to try and see where Sevilla are in La Liga. Oh, I can't. Anyway, forget it. I'll check that, and I'll maybe I'll put that on my 5 at 5 tomorrow. But Sevilla are a decent team. I don't know how their form is going in La Liga. Maybe you can put it in the comments for me. But they are the Europa League holders, and they're the toughest test in our group. So for Arsenal to restrict them to only one shot on target, and that in the 97th minute, shows how much control and composure and discipline we had throughout the team and throughout the whole 90 minutes. And that all comes from the manager. So well done, Mikel Arteta. The thing I really appreciated about our performance today is that the system and the game plan was so good that it's like, that will take care of itself. You know, the system is good enough to say, okay, we're not going to lose the game. And then it's on the individuals. You're basically saying to your flair players, to your proper, you know, to your proper ballers, the Sakas, Martinellis, Trossards, Rice, etc., what can you go and do to go and win us the game? Mikel Arteta's got it covered in terms of controlling it, but we need moments of magic from you. Now, when we analyse that first goal, clearly Jorginho is going to get a lot of praise, and I thought he was fantastic today. And it needs to be said because, look, we know he's got his sort of vulnerabilities. He's not a world beater, you know, at this age and stage of his career, but he was brilliant today, and he's a really good player when you have the ball. That pass that he played through to Bukayo Saka will get the assist. Trossard will get the goal, but Jorginho should get the credit, a big part of the credit for that goal. But then going one step back further, Declan Rice. Sevilla have the ball. Declan Rice smashes in with that pressure. He must be a nightmare to play against. That's what wins us the ball. And then when Jorginho gets it, what an incredible pass, and love to see it. Now, throughout the game, as I watched Martinelli do so well, I thought to myself, you know, in a way, the story might be that for all of the brilliance, he didn't get an assist. He didn't get a goal or an assist. And maybe people, if they're going to be hypercritical, could levy that criticism at him and say, well, there's no good just beating your man 10 times. You need to go and do something afterwards. Very glad for him that he got the assist. And Bukayo Saka, brilliant as well with his finish, chopping back onto his left and calm as he likes, scores it. Now, clearly, the game against Newcastle, you look at them and you can see that they had a plan for us. They prepared very well for us. They neutralised Saka and Martinelli. Sevilla, it's like they'd never watched Arsenal play. The way they gave Martinelli and Saka so much space. They obviously corrected it in the second half. Back five meant they could double up a bit more easily. But the amount of space that they gave us shows that they just were completely unprepared for the game. Now, you've got to respond to what your opposition do, and if they give you that space, you've got to take advantage. And Saka and Martinelli did that brilliantly. In the middle of the park as well, Declan Rice, absolutely brilliant. Declan Rice continues to be great. Kai Havertz continues to not take advantage. You know, I felt like a game like this where we're in the ascendancy and everyone's playing well, I'd like to have seen him grab that opportunity to join in with that fun. He obviously had one good shot on target. That was nice to see, a bit of sort of venom in his shot. But there were other moments in the game. The header very early on, should have done a lot better with that. Then you can say, okay, maybe, you know, first opportunity of the game, not into his motion, not into his flow just yet, but that was disappointing. And then there was a moment as well in the second half where he sort of ran onto the ball and didn't really do much with it. Got a touch to it, should have been a bit better. But look, hopefully it will come for Kai Havertz. I'm not going to worry about that too much today because overall, a brilliant team performance. Well done, Mikel Arteta, Declan Rice, Jorginho, Trossard, Saka, and especially Martinelli. Brilliant. And also David Raya, I'm glad it was a non-eventful game for our goalkeepers. You know, he didn't do much wrong, didn't do much right. There was very little for him to do. And in a way, it's nice for him to just come out the firing line after a couple of, you know, or after a few games where at times he's had a bit of criticism. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for our 5 at 5. Up the Arsenal and Man United. You just love it. Keep on doing what you're doing. Ten Hag in.